Happy Iqbal Day. Let's dive into the glorious regime of Iqbal.
If Jews have a right over the soil of Palestine, why do Arabs not have a right over Spain? So, in Iqbal's opinion, Palestine belongs to Arabs, and if someone advocates rights of Jews over Palestine land because they were driven out of Palestine, Arabs were deported from Spain, too. Iqbal had deep sympathies for Muslims of Palestine, as he believed Islam transcends all races, regions and borders. Though he died in 1938 and Israel was created in 1948, Iqbal had been closely following the developments in the Middle East. Western countries were bent upon granting lands to Jews in Palestine, trampling over all the promises they had made during the negotiations. So, writes Bashir Ahmed Dar in his Anwar-i Iqbal, a public rally was organized outside Lahore's famous Mochi Gate on December 30, 1919. Speaking on the occasion, Iqbal presented a resolution demanding that the promises that the British government had made to Muslims regarding their territories in the Middle East be fulfilled. He stressed that no part of any Muslim land should be handed over to any other side. After Paris Peace Conference, need for an international organization was felt for maintaining global peace. As a result, the League of Nations, a kind of precursor of the United Nations, was formed in 1920. Unfortunately, big powers held sway over the matters of the League of Nations as it had no real power to implement what it intended to do. Iqbal was utterly disappointed with what was doled out to Muslims after the First World War and in the wake of the creation of the League of Nations. He composed a scathing four-line piece, calling the League of Nations Kafan Doots Chand, or a few who steal shrouds from the graves. The two verses are included in Bayam-i Mashrik, or The Message from the East, a collection of Iqbal's Persian poetry first published in 1923. The verses have been translated into English by Syed Abdul Wahid, to banish the institution of warfare from this ancient assemblage. The well-wishers of the world evolved a new order. I know but this, that a few shroud stealers have formed a league for distributing graves. During their rule, Ottoman Turks have shown much permissive and tolerant attitude towards Jews. They permitted Jews to pray in front of Western Wall, an ancient wall situated in the proximity of Dome of Rock of Jerusalem and known as Borak Wall among Muslims. In September 1929, Iqbal delivered a speech criticizing pro-Jews policies pursued by the British and said, as quoted by Muhammad Rafiq Afzal in his book Guftar-i Iqbal, Turks have been showing extraordinary tolerant attitude towards Jews. They allowed them to wail before the Borak Wall, and that is why it came to be known as Wailing Wall. According to Islamic Sharia, the entire court area of Al-Aqsa Mosque is waqf, or endowment. The Jews claim its control and use, but legally and historically they do not have any right over it. The League of Nations headquarters was in Geneva, Switzerland, and British was supporting the Jews. So Iqbal alluded to them in his poem Falasteen Arab Sayins by Kalam. In this couplet Iqbal, while addressing Palestinian Arabs, says your panacea is neither at Geneva nor at London, because the jugular vein of the West is in the clutches of Jews. Muhammad Hamza Faruqi has mentioned in one of his articles that Allama Iqbal participated in the second round table conference held at London during the last few months of 1931 to discuss the reforms for greater self-government as demanded by the Indian politicians. In those days, Mu'tamar al-Alam al-Islami, or the World Muslim Congress, was organizing a conference to discuss the Zionist threat. Leaving London conference, Iqbal went to Jerusalem to attend the conference. On many other occasions, Iqbal had supported the Palestine cause. For want of space we cannot offer much here, but his letter dated October 7, 1937, addressed to Muhammad Ali Jinnah, is an absolute eye-opener. The Palestine question is very much agitating the minds of the Muslims. I have no doubt that the League will pass a strong resolution on this question, and also by holding a private conference of the leaders decide on some sort of a positive action in which masses may share in large numbers. This will at once popularize the League and may help the Palestine Arabs. Personally, I will not mind going to jail on an issue which affects both Islam and India. The great Bard was ill and died within 6 months, but was willing to go to jail for the Palestine cause.